What's up? Today I wanted to speak about beat leasing. Beat leasing has become the stock standard thing for artists to do, especially new upcoming artists. You might not be able to afford to sit down and create with a producer. You might just have the budget to go onto their website, maybe their BeatStars or their Airbit, and have a look through their catalog of beats and then choose one. So now as an artist, you might not necessarily know the intricacies of beat selling and the whole beat market. It has taken so many different turns over the years, and it's evolved and evolved and evolved, and we have this iteration that we have at the moment, which primarily focuses on non-exclusive beats and exclusive beats, both of them being leases. So you've got a non-exclusive lease, which is, if you think of a lease, like if you were to lease a car or if you were to rent an apartment, it's a temporary arrangement, right? And that temporary arrangement says that for a defined period of time, you get to make use of that beat. Just in the same way, if you were to rent out a space, then you'd be able to make use of that space. Obviously, you can do what you want to in it. You can set up a studio if you want to, you can put something up. You have this set of things that you can do, but then there'll also be a boundary of things that you can't do. So you might not necessarily be able to nail anything into the wall. You might not be able to paint on the wall, right? It's the same in the world of beat leasing. When you find someone's website, the first thing that you should do is make a note of the beat that you're going to be purchasing, as well as understand what that particular beat maker's policies or their procedures are. This makes it easy for you to know exactly what it means to make a purchase. You're not just going to pay $30, understand what that $30 is for. So just to explain the process, you've gone through someone's YouTube, you've gone through their BeatStars, whatever it is. Try and make sure that you get to a BeatStars. Get to a reputable website where you can have a look at the rest of their catalog. You might find something better or more along the lines. You might be able to reach out to the beat maker and get a beat custom made or get the beat tweaked slightly if you need that done. But then what that allows you to do is it allows you to have a look at their terms, so that you can see that if you are getting a non-exclusive lease, you understand how many plays you can get off of that lease. You understand what the implications are if you get a certain number of streams, or if you want it on radio, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. It's important to get that information right, because you don't want to get to a position where the song gets really, really big, the producer comes back to you, and when you guys have your conversation, you realize that you're in breach of that agreement that's in place. It's the same with exclusives. As long as there's a lease going on, it's for a defined period of time, and what you're doing is you are paying for the ability to make use of that beat. It works just like renting. When you rent, when you pay your landlord that amount of money to stay at the place where you're staying for a month, it doesn't mean that that place is yours. You can't change things, you can't edit things, and you can't not give credit, right? You can't now go to the bank and say, I own that house. You're gonna say that I'm renting at that place. So it's the same with beat making, in that you are paying to make use of that beat for that defined period of time. Now with a non-exclusive lease, you might find that there are other people also making use of the exact same beat that you're making use of. Again, I would say the only thing that really matters, because this is an argument and a conversation I've had with many people, the only thing that really matters at the end of the day is, what are their terms? Because isn't it that you've come to that producer and you want their things? What are the terms of you getting that particular beat? Then over and above that, have you then negotiated and changed those terms slightly, and do you now have it in writing? Because at the end of the day, you want this stuff all in writing. And I know when you get a beat off of one of these websites, especially the reputable ones, you get an agreement as well, so you can read through it and see what you are capable of doing. Question that I've received is, how do they police that they make sure that you don't go above a certain amount of plays or radio stations? It's tough as a music producer. We do everything, but we're wearing all these different hats, and being a debt collector or being someone who's going to watch each and every single usage of a beat isn't something that I think a lot of us have time to do. It's more of just one of those fail-safes to say that if something does blow up, that we have paperwork, we've got an agreement that states that should it go past a certain threshold, that we should either go into a negotiation again, or we should be compensated in a particular way. Then the last point is then a buyout. So a complete buyout would be if someone comes to me and they say that I want to buy this beat. After this sale, you no longer have any say on that beat anymore. It is mine. It's a transfer of ownership, transfer of copyright, which also needs to be in writing. Now, this happens. I know a lot of people try and do this, but I'm thinking for myself, and I know that if someone wants to do a complete buyout with me, I'm probably going to charge them quite a bit of money, knowing that I'm never going to make money on this beat ever again. Anything could happen. This beat could completely tank and they do nothing with it, or it could blow up and become a #1 hit. Who knows, right? And then all of that in between. Who knows what's going to happen to it? So I need to make sure that I get my due compensation right now, knowing that I can't claim on anything else that's going to come from that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Non-exclusives, exclusives, or leases. So think of just any type of lease. It could be called a premium lease, basic lease, standard lease. There's so many different terms for all of these things, and no producer works the same. I can set my standard lease agreement. The next producer is going to do something different. So make sure that you understand what's actually in that agreement. And then if you are purchasing a beat, understand what you get and understand that it's probably not a buyout. And if it is, get it in writing. Peace.